Like, there's conceivably a way to do warp drive, but it's such super out on the edge physics, because technically you cannot go faster than the speed of light, but space can travel faster than the speed of light. That's what's meant by warp drive.
Elon Musk has just made an announcement that could change the future of space exploration forever.
It is possible, theoretically possible, to warp space itself, but you're warping space such that space is moving.
If this is possible, the amount of energy required to warp space is so gigantic, it boggles the mind.
After years of speculation, rumors, and technological breakthroughs, Musk has finally revealed the new warp drive Starship, a spacecraft unlike anything the world has ever seen.
Their concept of propulsion, that almost like space would be flat, and you would fold space over and you would intersect those 2 points and you would be able to travel vast distances instantaneously.
Could it really possess the capability to travel faster than the speed of light, just like in science fiction?
Really, the Holy Grail is a fully and rapidly reusable orbital system, converting matter to energy at a rate that is cannot conceive, really.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, has finally revealed something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. A breakthrough that could change everything we know about space travel. Today, we dive into the details of SpaceX's newly announced warp drive Starship, an innovation that has left the entire world stunned. This announcement is nothing short of revolutionary, potentially rewriting the rules of physics and pushing humanity one step closer to becoming an interplanetary species. Let's explore what this warp drive is all about, how it works, what it means for the future of space exploration, and the potential impact on our understanding of the universe. Chapter 1. The vision behind the warp drive Starship. From the very beginning, Elon Musk's vision has been clear: to make life multi-planetary. Since founding SpaceX in 2002, Musk has consistently talked about sending humans to Mars, creating a self-sustaining colony, and ultimately making human beings a multi-planetary species. However, traveling to Mars and beyond with current technology is extremely time-consuming and expensive. Musk has always known that to truly make this vision a reality, a groundbreaking propulsion system is needed, something that could defy our current understanding of speed, distance, and energy. And now, he believes that SpaceX has found that breakthrough. In a recent, much-anticipated reveal, Musk finally introduced the world to the concept of the warp drive Starship. He explained that this isn't just about getting to Mars faster. This is about reaching the farthest corners of our galaxy in a fraction of the time previously thought possible. But how exactly does this warp drive work? And how did SpaceX manage to develop such a revolutionary piece of technology? To understand this, we need to first delve into the science of warp drives and how they've been theorized up until now. Chapter 2. Understanding the concept of warp drive. The idea of a warp drive isn't new. In fact, it has been a staple of science fiction for decades, popularized by shows like Star Trek. But the question has always been, could warp drives actually exist in reality? The concept of a warp drive is based on the idea of bending or warping space-time itself to allow for faster-than-light travel. In normal physics, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light in a vacuum. However, warp drive theory suggests that instead of moving through space at speeds faster than light, a spacecraft could manipulate space-time itself, contracting the space in front of it and expanding the space behind it. This would theoretically create a bubble around the spacecraft, allowing it to move faster than light relative to the space outside of the bubble. Imagine space-time like a fabric. By pulling and pushing this fabric, the warp drive ship doesn't need to move faster than light. It merely shortens the distance it needs to travel. The theoretical foundation for such a drive was proposed by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994, who showed through his equations that a warp drive could, in theory, be possible. The challenge, however, has always been the immense energy required to create and sustain such a bubble, an amount of energy far beyond our current technological capabilities. So, what has changed? What is it that SpaceX has discovered that could make warp drives a reality? Chapter 3. The Breakthrough: SpaceX's Technological Leap. Musk's announcement came with more than just words. It came with a comprehensive overview of the technology behind SpaceX's warp drive Starship. The key to this breakthrough lies in a combination of new advances in quantum mechanics, exotic matter, and zero-point energy. Firstly, let's talk about exotic matter. Exotic matter, unlike ordinary matter, possesses negative energy density. This negative energy is crucial for creating the warp bubble described in Alcubierre's theory. For years, physicists have debated whether exotic matter could even exist. Recent advancements at SpaceX, however, indicate they have managed to synthesize small amounts of this exotic matter in a controlled environment. Next, there's zero-point energy. Zero-point energy refers to the lowest possible energy that a quantum mechanical system may have. Musk has often hinted at SpaceX's research into zero-point energy, and in this announcement, he confirmed that they have successfully developed a prototype engine that utilizes zero-point fluctuations to provide the immense amount of energy needed for the warp drive. The combination of exotic matter and zero-point energy has allowed SpaceX to create what Musk calls the warp field generator. This device is the heart of the new Starship, enabling it to manipulate space-time around it, effectively reducing the distance to its destination. The warp field generator is powered by an array of new ultra-efficient fusion reactors, which provide the initial energy needed to generate the warp bubble. Once the warp bubble is established, the ship can ride it like a wave, moving through space at speeds faster than light. This technological leap represents the culmination of years of research, experimentation, and refinement by SpaceX's top scientists and engineers. It's not just a step forward, it's a giant leap for space exploration and the future of humanity. Chapter 4. Testing the warp drive Starship. Musk's announcement didn't just reveal the technology behind the warp drive Starship, it also shared details about the rigorous testing that the ship has undergone. According to Musk, SpaceX has conducted multiple tests of the warp drive on a small scale, both on Earth and in space. The first successful test occurred in a vacuum chamber at SpaceX's research facility. A miniature version of the warp field generator was used to create a small warp bubble, demonstrating that it is possible to warp space-time in a controlled environment. The experiment showed a measurable reduction in distance between 2 points inside the chamber, confirming the theoretical predictions of the warp drive equations. The next step was to test the drive in space. SpaceX launched a small unmanned test craft equipped with a scaled-down version of the warp drive. The craft was sent into orbit, where it successfully created a warp bubble and traveled a short distance at faster-than-light speeds. This test was a landmark achievement, demonstrating that the warp drive could function in the vacuum of space. But that was just the beginning. Musk revealed that SpaceX has conducted over a dozen additional tests in space, each with increasing complexity and duration. The final test, conducted just a few weeks before the announcement, involved a full-scale prototype of the warp drive Starship. This test saw the Starship travel to the outer edges of our solar system and back in a matter of hours, something that would have taken years with traditional propulsion methods. These tests have been closely monitored by international space agencies and independent scientists who have verified the results. It's official. SpaceX's warp drive works, and it's ready for the next stage. Chapter 5. Implications for space exploration. Now that SpaceX has developed a working warp drive, the implications for space exploration are profound. The warp drive could solve one of the biggest challenges facing space travel: the vast distances between celestial bodies. With traditional rocket propulsion, traveling to even the nearest star systems would take tens of thousands of years. The warp drive, however, could make such journeys possible in a matter of days or weeks. Mars, which has been the focus of SpaceX's efforts up to this point, could now be reached in minutes. This opens up incredible new opportunities for exploration and colonization. Suddenly, the idea of a human settlement on Mars the moons of Jupiter or Saturn, or even planets in other star systems, doesn't seem like a distant dream, but a very real possibility. Furthermore, this technology has the potential to enable the exploration of exoplanets, planets outside our solar system that could potentially harbor life. Scientists have identified thousands of exoplanets, but reaching them has always been considered impossible with current technology. The warp drive changes that equation. Missions to exoplanets that would have taken thousands of years could now be completed in a human lifetime. Moreover, the warp drive could fundamentally change our understanding of the universe. Imagine sending probes to the far reaches of the galaxy or even beyond to explore phenomena like black holes, dark matter, and cosmic radiation in unprecedented detail. The data collected from such missions could revolutionize our understanding of physics, cosmology, and the nature of reality itself. Chapter 6. Potential applications beyond space. Exploration. While the implications for space exploration are profound, Musk also touched on the potential applications of the warp drive technology beyond just reaching other planets. The principles behind the warp drive could be applied to other forms of transportation, potentially revolutionizing travel on Earth as well. For instance, the technology could be adapted for use in aircraft, allowing for ultra-fast travel between continents. Imagine flying from New York to Tokyo in under a minute. This would not only revolutionize the transportation industry, but also bring the world closer together in ways we can scarcely imagine today. There are also potential applications in fields like communication and energy. If we can manipulate space-time itself, it could open up new ways to transmit information instantly across vast distances or harness energy in ways we've never thought possible. Musk also mentioned the potential for this technology to be used in medical and scientific research. The ability to create and control warp fields could have applications in quantum computing, medical imaging, and even particle physics, leading to breakthroughs in our understanding of the universe at its most fundamental level. Chapter 7. The reaction from the scientific community. The announcement of the warp drive Starship has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. While many scientists are excited about the potential of this new technology, there is also a healthy dose of skepticism. Some physicists are questioning the validity of SpaceX's claims, arguing that the idea of a warp drive is still purely theoretical and that the technology needed to create and maintain a warp bubble is far beyond our current capabilities. Others are concerned about the potential risks and ethical implications of using such technology, especially when it comes to human exploration of other planets. However, there are also many scientists who are cautiously optimistic. Dr. Michio Kaku, a renowned theoretical physicist, has praised the announcement, calling it the most exciting development in space travel since the Apollo moon landing. Kaku has long been a proponent of the warp drive concept and believes that SpaceX's breakthrough could be the key to making it a reality. Similarly, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson has expressed his enthusiasm for the new technology, saying that it could fundamentally change our understanding of space, time, and the universe. Tyson has emphasized the importance of continued research and experimentation to fully understand the implications of the warp drive and ensure its safe and responsible use. Chapter 8. The next steps for SpaceX. With the successful tests of the warp drive Starship, SpaceX is now preparing for the next phase of development. According to Musk, the company is planning a series of manned test flights to further evaluate the capabilities and safety of the warp drive technology. The first manned flight is scheduled to take place within the next year and will involve a crew of highly trained astronauts and scientists. This mission will aim to test the warp drive in a series of increasingly complex scenarios, including long-distance travel and maneuvers near celestial bodies. In addition to these test flights, SpaceX is also working on building a fleet of warp drive starships. The goal is to have multiple ships ready for interplanetary missions within the next decade. Musk envisions these starships being used for a variety of purposes, from transporting cargo and passengers to other planets to conducting scientific research and exploration missions. SpaceX is also collaborating with international space agencies and private companies to explore the potential applications of the warp drive technology. Musk has expressed his desire to see a new era of cooperation and collaboration in space exploration, with countries and organizations working together to unlock the full potential of this revolutionary technology. Chapter 9: The Future of Humanity in Space. Elon Musk's announcement marks a turning point in the history of space exploration. The development of the warp drive Starship has the potential to revolutionize our approach to space travel and bring us closer than ever before to becoming an interplanetary species. But what does this mean for the future of humanity in space? For Musk, the answer is clear. This is just the beginning. He envisions a future where humans live and work on multiple planets, exploring the farthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Musk believes that this future is not just desirable, but necessary for the survival and growth of humanity. He has often spoken about the need to establish a human presence on other planets to ensure our long-term survival and mitigate the risks of existential threats such as asteroids, supervolcanoes, or even human-made disasters. The warp drive Starship represents a critical step toward this goal. By dramatically reducing the time and cost of space travel, it opens up new possibilities for exploration, colonization, and scientific research. It allows us to dream bigger, reach further, and push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Chapter 10: Conclusion. Elon Musk's reveal of the new warp drive Starship is more than just an announcement. It's a declaration of intent. It's a bold step toward a future where humanity is no longer bound by the limits of our solar system, but instead reaches for the stars. The implications of this technology are profound, touching every aspect of our lives, from space exploration and travel to our understanding of the universe and our place within it. While there are still many questions to be answered and challenges to be overcome, one thing is clear: we are on the brink of a new era in space exploration. As we look to the future, the possibilities are endless. The dream of interstellar travel, of exploring new worlds and discovering the mysteries of the cosmos, is closer than ever before. And with visionaries like Elon Musk leading the way, there's no telling how far we can go. So, buckle up, because the journey is just beginning. The future is here, and it's faster than light.
It has always been a basic human desire to pursue technological advancements. One way this desire has always manifested itself is the desire to do things faster. Faster computers, faster internet, faster mobile devices. The list goes on and on. Surely there's been massive developments over the years in all of these areas. You'd agree that the computers we have today are nothing compared to the ones we had 2 decades ago. The same goes for satellites and machinery. Our cars today are 10 times faster than what they used to be. But it's not just cars and satellites that we have improved on. Perhaps the most incredible feat of humanity in terms of speed so far has been in aviation. Today, we have made planes that can fly faster than any birds on the planet. We also have jets, like the F-35, that break the sound barrier. Think about the Concorde, for instance. It is the first plane to fly at supersonic speed. It was truly a milestone for aviation when this aircraft could move at 1,354 miles per hour, which is more than 2 times the speed of sound. This incredible speed allowed it to make the trip from London to New York in 3 hours or less. But as fascinating as the Concorde and other modern-day fighter jets may be in terms of speed, they still lag compared to what we use in space exploration. Our spacecraft are currently the fastest aircraft we have. I'm pretty sure you've heard about space rockets or even seen them in action. These machines can go as fast as 18,000 miles per hour. You see, to escape out of the Earth's atmosphere and enter into orbit, you must reach at least 17,600 miles per hour. But this speed requirement goes up several times higher if you're talking about traveling from Earth to another planet, say Mars. To do that, you have to reach speeds of at least 25,000 miles per hour. This is why most of the probes scientists send into space need an immense amount of thrust to get to the destination. For instance, the Juno probe that orbited Jupiter from 1995 to 2003 traveled through space at 74 kilometers per second. Now, that's over 266,000 kilometers per hour. You'd agree that such speed is totally mind-blowing. Space probes can travel at such wind-breaking speeds thanks to their complex propulsion systems. First, for launches, space agencies like NASA use a combination of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen for fuel. Hydrogen, being the substance with the lowest molecular weight, helps keep the weight of the rocket small. When combined with liquid oxygen, it makes for a highly effective yet very lightweight fuel. Sometimes aluminum, along with an explosive, is also used to provide an extra boost, especially for heavier spacecraft. Usually, before a probe is launched, the path is already pre-planned, and calculations are made to determine how fast it would have to travel to arrive at its target. Once a spacecraft has been successfully launched a good distance into outer space, the launch vehicle provides most of the major propulsion force in the right path and disengages. Ion thrusters are then used to propel the spacecraft in deep space. These ion engines use very light fuel, but provide very strong thrust force that pushes the aircraft forward at crazy speeds. Beyond that, scientists also take advantage of the gravity of planets and moons to boost or accelerate a spacecraft, thereby saving fuel. This is one thing that has enabled probes like the Voyager 1 and 2 to stay alive for over 4 decades. As for navigation, small hydrogen thrusters are used to make small adjustments to flight paths to help these probes maneuver through space. Currently, Voyager 1 is the fastest spacecraft we have, traveling at a whopping 17 kilometers per second. That's an insane speed right there. But in terms of cosmic scale, it's of no significance. That's because it's still nothing compared to the speed of light. The dream of many scientists and technologists is to build something, anything, that can travel at the speed of light. Until this dream is realized, we may never be able to explore other star systems in our own galaxy, much less travel to other galaxies in the universe. I'm sure you know that interstellar travel distance is measured in light years. For example, the distance between the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy is about 2.2 million light years. In other words, it would take 2.2 million years to get to Andromeda if we managed to travel at light speed. This should give you an idea of how massive the universe is and why scientists are so interested in making this light speed travel a reality. But then, this begs the question, has there ever been an aircraft reportedly faster than the speed of light? Well, yes. Shockingly, not one but several aircraft have been reported here on Earth to be as fast as the speed of light. But here's the thing, they weren't man-made. There has never been a man-made aircraft that has gone faster than the speed of light. But several UFOs or UAPs have been reported to move at such speeds, even under the influence of extremely high wind resistance. UFOs have always been a topic of controversy for several reasons. One such reason is the odd and unnatural features and abilities they possess. These craft don't seem to have any visible propulsion systems, and yet they can move seamlessly and multi-directionally. That's not all. They've been reported to move at astonishing speeds too. Some are even believed to be faster than the speed of light. One such report came from David Fravor, a retired Navy veteran who shared his UFO encounter at the U.S. Congress hearing in June 2023. Fravor described what he called a tic-tac encounter. It all happened back in 2004 when Fravor was still a Navy pilot. As commander of the F/A-18F squadron, he was alerted to the case of an anomaly, a weird object that had been detected in the area. According to Fravor at the time, operators had detected multiple anomalous aerial vehicles. These vehicles didn't belong to the Navy, and weirdly enough, they were doing something that was practically impossible. Fravor explained that the strange objects were accelerating vertically into space and descending back down 80,000 feet in less than a second. No man-made aircraft can perform this feat, even presently. so you could imagine how baffling this must have been for David Fravor and his squad. Fravor was asked to investigate the event, and he did so with his F/A-18F fighter jet. As he approached the location, he spotted a white tic-tac object in the distance. He and his colleagues observed the strange object for about 20 minutes before deciding to move in for a closer look. That was when the object suddenly came alive and accelerated at such a mind-boggling speed that it seemed to disappear out of sight. According to Fravor, this object had no wings, no thrusters, no propulsion systems of any kind, and no exhaust or air vents. And so, how it managed to move so fast is something Fravor can't explain till this very day. He mentioned that less than a minute later, the object was spotted again, over 60 miles away from its first position. During his testimony at the Congress hearing, Fravor admitted that the technology exhibited by this tic-tac object far exceeds anything we had then or anything we could possibly build in the next 10 years. Fravor's testimony matches the accounts of several Americans and other folks around the world who claim to have seen UFOs that seem to disappear and reappear in an instant. That's exactly what traveling at light speed would look like. However, such speed could literally kill you because of the G-forces you'd have to contend with. If you've ever seen a Navy flight pilot at high speed from the inside of the cockpit, you know that traveling at high speeds causes tension to the pilot. You can see them become very uptight, their skin shrivels, and their bodies seem to become suspended under high tension. The G-forces experienced at such speeds can cause muscle pain, vision problems, nausea, and so on. Usually, pilots are trained to handle G-forces. But even in combat or during missions, they try to limit the amount of G-forces to the least minimum. Otherwise, they could pass out and crash. This is one thing that has killed many pilots over the years. Making extremely fast turns and maneuvers at high speeds can subject a pilot to extremely high G-forces and cause accidents. So, given that these aircraft are barely faster than the speed of sound, you can imagine how terrible the G-forces will be when you're traveling at the speed of light. Many scientists have deemed it to be impossible for humans to travel at such speeds, as the G-forces would literally rip you apart from the inside out. But then, how do these UFOs do it? And given the fact that recent evidence from David Grush suggests these UFOs are piloted by aliens, how do the aliens themselves manage to stay alive in such ultra-fast vehicles? You see, David Grush, another witness at the 2023 U.S. Congress hearing for UAPs, made some shocking revelations. He disclosed that the U.S. government has been recovering non-human remains from UFO crash sites for decades. David Grush is a retired U.S. Air Force intelligence officer who found many shocking secrets during his time in service. Grush's revelations were a huge shock to many, but also a confirmation to UFO conspiracy theorists. For a long time, many have believed that UFOs were alien spacecraft, but the question of whether or not there were pilots behind the cockpits was a subject of controversy. However, thanks to this whistleblower, it seems that UFOs are truly the spacecraft of extraterrestrial species. Although Grush didn't give any physical evidence to support his claims, he gave the board assurance that he could deliver more evidence in the right setting. Grush withheld several sensitive information during the hearing as he was afraid for his safety. He, however, confessed that he could deliver the names of people to ask questions and also point the Congress in the right direction if given a one-on-one private hearing in a skiff. Grush's testimony didn't just cause an uproar on the subject of the existence of extraterrestrials. It also caused an uproar in the area of alien technology adaptation. David Grush gave an account of how the government has been reverse engineering alien technology for decades. In other words, the government has been trying to improve the capabilities of military aircraft by harnessing alien technology. This revelation shockingly acts as a strong alibi to another famous story, the story of Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is an American who claims to have been hired by the government in the 1980s to reverse engineer alien technology. His story won public attention, but he has long been labeled a conspiracy theorist. However, some members of the public do believe his story, especially after whistleblower David Grush's testimony. And so, the big question is, have we somehow found a way to make aircraft that can move and navigate like UFOs? For now, no one knows. However, scientists have discovered a way to make an object move as fast as the speed of light, perhaps even faster than UFOs. In fact, if this hypothesis becomes a reality, we could have spacecraft that could travel 10 times the speed of light. How's this possible? Well, it's all thanks to a genius idea drawn from science fiction. I'm sure you've seen some movies in which a spacecraft accelerates and suddenly disappears into some kind of dimensional stream or bubble in which it travels at super-fast speeds. In such movie scenes, the vessel could travel across galaxies or dimensions in just a few minutes or seconds to arrive at the needed destination. Scientists have long studied this seemingly impossible feat and have finally found a way to make this work in real life. You see, while it may be impossible to travel faster than the speed of light, it's possible to warp space-time, like we see in the movies, to enable the traveling vessel do the impossible. Such a trip would still be very safe, as there would be no excessive g-forces to tear you apart. Einstein's law of relativity explains that traveling at the speed of light is impossible for objects that have a non-zero rest mass. So, we will only be able to travel at light speed if we have an infinite amount of kinetic energy. But here's the thing. Instead of focusing on increasing the kinetic energy of the object, it's a lot easier to warp the space around the object to enable it to travel faster. The hypothetical device that would make this possible is called a warp drive. The concept of a warp drive was first introduced by author John Campbell in his 1957 book, Islands of Space. The idea was made more popular by the famous sci-fi movie series, Star Trek. In the movie, humanity was exploring the deepest parts of the cosmos, thanks to a specially made vehicle that employed the use of warp drives to travel faster than the speed of light. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. Surely you would agree that it's impossible to accelerate to such speed without getting ripped apart. However, with the warp drive, all you would have to do is warp the space-time with a velocity higher than the speed of light. In Star Trek, for instance, the Starship could achieve a maximum warp velocity of 9,000 times the speed of light. Such a velocity would make traveling across stars and galaxies almost seamless. There's a vast space between planets and galaxies. Some galaxies are up to billions of light years across. A light year is approximately 9 trillion kilometers. So traveling at light speed just won't be enough for cosmic exploration. Ultimately, we would have to create vessels that can travel at several times the speed of light if we are to explore faraway parts of the cosmos. Is this really possible? Can we truly achieve such remarkable travel speeds in reality, or is it just a thing of fiction? The scientific community strongly believes that it is possible to travel faster than light, especially using the warp theory. For scientists, this is just another hurdle to cross, another breakthrough to unlock. It's no different from other seemingly impossible feats that we've achieved, like the light bulb or wireless communication. For now, the major hurdle is creating a functional warp drive. Physicists, theoretical scientists, and engineers are all working together to find a way to make the warp drive a reality. Just so you know, this concept of warping is actually based on some real laws of physics. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, the universe is a flat sheet of space-time. Any object with mass exerts a warping effect on it. The evidence of the distortion of space-time is experienced as gravity. In other words, even you are creating a small warping effect on the universe, and this is why you feel the effects of gravity. In 1994, a Mexican scientist named Miguel Alcubierre used Einstein's theory of relativity to develop a hypothetical model, a way to bypass traveling at the speed of light. He revealed in his paper that this could be done by expanding space-time behind the spacecraft and contracting the space-time in front of it. He also postulated that doing this would be possible with the help of something called the Alcubierre drive. Basically, this drive would expend a tremendous amount of energy that would contract space-time in front while expanding behind, thereby creating some kind of bubble. Inside the bubble, everything would seem normal, like the vessel is traveling at a proper average speed. But outside the bubble, observers would notice a strange warping or tremendous acceleration faster than the speed of light. And so, although the basic rules of physics would still be at play inside the bubble, the vessel would be traveling at lightning speed across the universe. Traveling inside such a space bubble will mean zero gravity effects, since the distortion caused by the vessel would be unnoticeable thanks to the warping of the surrounding space-time. You won't experience any g-forces or any of the other things you should suffer while traveling at light speeds. It would just be like normal travel, even though the bubble is hurtling through time and space at mind-boggling speeds. Alcubierre suggests that, using his theory, it would be possible to travel at speeds 10 times the speed of light. It's quite impressive, considering the fact that it may be physically impossible to beat the speed of light. The entire concept entails traveling in an enclosed ring of negative mass across the universe. However, traveling at 10 times the speed of light won't suffice for interstellar travel. We'd have to create something similar, or exactly like the warp drives used in the Star Trek movies, to enable us to travel at 7,000 times the speed of sound. But even if we manage to create a warp drive, there's still another problem. The amount of energy that will be required to power such a drive so it would bypass the light barrier would be unthinkable. Some members of the scientific community have estimated that propelling a spaceship beyond light speed would need 100 times the energy contained in massive planets like Jupiter. Such energy far exceeds what you get from atomic bomb blasts like the Hiroshima event. And so, you can imagine what it would mean to find such an energy source and finally harness it to power a warp drive. It's a huge problem scientists are still scratching their heads over. But it's not the only problem. There will be a requirement for negative energy if the concept of contracting and expanding space-time on opposite ends is to truly become possible. Scientists have still not found a way to meet this negative energy requirement. So, until that happens, our dream of having a functional warp drive to power spaceships beyond the light barrier may just be impossible. However, scientists and researchers aren't relenting. All hands are on deck to overcome the numerous hurdles so we can finally achieve the long dream of exploring the farthest parts of the cosmos in manned vehicles, just like we see in the movies. But then, there are some conspiracy theorists who believe that certain secret government agencies may have already found a way to travel across galaxies with the help of alien technology. In any case, there's no proof that humanity currently has the technology to travel across galaxies, but at least now we know it's possible. It's no longer a question of how, but a matter of when. Hopefully, we may get to see the first functional warp drive in our lifetime.